So, day 2 in New York. Still got the hat on. This is where I'm staying. I'm staying in Chinatown. This is downtown, or this is Chinatown in New York City. Take a look. Across from the Hong Kong supermarket. This is Bowery Street right there. You can see we're in front of the nice shops. It's pretty chilly here today, but not too bad. I'm bundled up nicely. But we are in some downtown New York buildings in the cold. So anyway, I had a good class yesterday. It was like 15 people there. They really liked it. Shireen is an excellent teacher. She talked about Jungian archetypes and the Kundalini. It really surprised me. I didn't think that's what she was going to talk about, but she did, and it played really well with what I talked about, which is the cross-cultural myths. Actually, cross-cultural creation myths. There's a lot of C's, isn't it? And the Kundalini, which I was going to talk about. I didn't even know she was preparing to talk about the Kundalini and Jung. And so I talked about how there's this common serpent imagery in all creation myths, pretty much. The Vedic, whoops, almost fell. You got to see me, almost tripped. The Vedic creation myth, at least one of them has the, churning of the milk ocean, where you have the birth of Rahu and Ketu, which are, of course, serpents. And, of course, they churn the milk ocean with the big serpent Vasuki. In the Mayan creation myths, or at least the Mayan story of creation, you have the tree of life, and you have the serpent in the tree, and that actually represents the ecliptic. The planets often are depicted on the body of a serpent, which is meant to illustrate that the planets travel through the ecliptic. So you literally have a serpent hanging in the tree of life. So he's sort of draped in the tree of life, and the tree is the galactic plane. Because when you look at the galactic plane in Sagittarius, when it rises, it actually rises in the sky like a big tree. And even in Adam and Eve's story, of course, a serpent is prominent. So we talked a lot about this relationship between that and the archetypes. And then today we're going to talk more about what's going to happen in 2011. And also I'm going to flesh out a little bit more of the nakshatra myths, the ones that are going to be important in 2011, and different things like that. So anyway, it's interesting to be here in New York. It's cold. I lived in the East Coast for a long time, so I know these cold winters. It's a pleasant change, but I can't say that I'm enjoying the cold so much. But I like being in New York. It's an interesting city. Although I didn't really go out or do anything. I've been a little bit kind of weird jet lag. I might do something tonight, though, after we get done. Anyway, now we're in the Little Italy. Look, Chinatown and Little Italy are right next to each other, huh? Benito! We had dinner here last night. It was really nice. So there's some Italian, some Little Italy there. This is an interesting part of New York called Soho. And the center where I'm teaching is right up the street here on Broome Street and Broadway. So anyway, you can get the recordings of these classes, by the way. I just realized that. This was a good little promotional video. Yeah, actually, you can get the recordings of these classes and understand this common mythical language that is that has always been portrayed and understand its poignancy and relevance to the times we're living in now. Interesting stuff. It's fascinating, and I couldn't have been doing it with a better partner. Shireen Shostak is an excellent astrologer and also metaphysician. She does a lot of experiential work. She's a Jungian counselor. She's a Jungian, I guess you say psychotherapist or whatever. She's been in practice for like almost 20 years, even though she's young one, but she's just gifted. She's really gifted when she talks about it. Really brings these things to life, and she really knows how to, bring it into your real experience. So, anyway, we'll leave it at that. And one more little tour of Soho down there. Cold New York day. The big New York buildings. That's the way they look. It's a different look, that's for sure. I think New York is a very male city. Living in it's the first thing I realized. Living in San Francisco is it really feels like a female city compared to New York. I noticed that yesterday. I was like, this just feels so male. Everything is big and a little bit aggressive. Well, but I'm from the East Coast, so it's not too off-putting for me. I kind of like it, but I could live without the cold. So anyway, you have a good day.